Okay. We are through with the game that we were developing, right? That's the racing game which we developed and we completed it yesterday, if you remember. I hope you tried this code and you were able to get the output. Ridesh, did you try this code here on your device or you didn't get the time to do so?
Yes, sir.
Did you try this code, this one, this game that we developed yesterday? Did you try?
Yes.
Did you try this game on your device or not? I hope you remember this game. We finished it yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So is it working on your device or not? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to start with a new game today. For that, we will create a new file and let's just.
But one thing.
My voice is sorry, I didn't
So
catch
what you are saying, I couldn't hear. Can you say once again?
You're not able to hear me properly. How is it possible here?
So yes, and now it is okay. So what you were saying?
So I was asking whether the game which we developed yesterday, did you try that game on your device or not? Because
yes, sir.
It's not there on your device, no? So I asked you to try that game after the class on your device.
Yes, sir, but it is not working.
Okay, so it was working. That's fine. So fine if it is working.
No, it is not working.
It's not working.
It is saying invalid syntax.
It's not working or it's working.
It is showing invalid.
Okay, so do one thing here. Just share your screen with me. I'm giving you the rights to share your screen.
Yes, sir.
Show me the whole code. Okay, fine.
Yes.
So it says okay, it says invalid syntax. Beta, there needs to be, you need to put an asterisk in between time and this bracket. There is no asterisk sign in between these two things. So in line number 12, just before t of time, in line number 12, just before t of time, t of time, yeah, put an asterisk. Then after, yeah, put an asterisk. After dt also put an asterisk. In line number 12, after dt also put an asterisk. Same thing you have to do in line number 13 also. Same thing. The asterisks are missing. That is the reason you're not able to see the output. Put asterisks.
Yes. Yes.
Now it's running and now it's working fine. Just run the game again.
Yes.
Run the game again. And press A and D to control the movement of the car. You need to press A for moving the car in the left side and for D for moving it in the right. Okay, it's showing car crashed because it's again and again, colliding with the pumpkins coming in its way.
But sir, the pumpkins are not visible.
Pumpkins are not visible. Close the window. Let me see why the pumpkins are not visible. Close the window, dear. Can you please come down? Let me check the entire code. Okay. Yeah, everything seems to be fine. Do one thing. Press. Come in the folder in which the game file is present. You can click file. You can click file. Okay. Go ahead. Then open file, dear, open file. Open file, press file, yeah, open file. Okay, you do not have the pumpkins texture images, right? That is the reason you're not able to see it. Close the window and just hold on for a moment. Let me just, put all the files in the chat box of this meeting. So what you have to do, you have to download all the files and you have to then, put them in the folder inside which your code resides. So where is that meeting? I have to.
বলছি যে ওটা দে না 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 কি বলছিস
Okay, so I am putting the files in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Just a second, I'm putting all the 4 files. Okay, so the files are going in the chat box. You will be able to see all the files very soon on your in the chat box of the meeting. Just check the chat box now. How many files are you able to see there? I'm done with sending you all the 4 files here. You can start downloading them and then you can get like this. Absolutely fine. Done, Pridesh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just run the game again.
No, it's not. No, the control B is not working.
Control B is not working. No, dear, it is
That means the
working.
game is not open.
See, you're getting an error. It says that missing model file pumpkin.obj. Just check at the end in the console panel. It is showing you an error. So
Yes,
I
sir.
think you haven't downloaded the object file. That's the reason this error is getting.
Here pumpkin.
Beta, but what about the other 2 texture files? You need to download the other 2 also, no? Just check the chat box. All the 4 files are there. You have downloaded and uploaded 2 files, but there are 2 more files you have to download and upload them in the folder in which your code resides.
Yes, I think now it will work.
Just run the code once. If you're through with, uploading all the photographs, loading all the files in that folder.
No.
It says missing texture pumpkin roughness. You haven't downloaded this file yet, dear.
Yes, sir.
Check the chat box. You will be able to find the file.
Yes, yes. It is here downloaded.
But it's not there in the folder in which your code is present.
1 second, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it is there, right? Now all the files are there. Control S for saving the changes. Press Control and S keys together. See, so now you're getting
Yes.
the pumpkins, right? Just run the game once more and press A and D for moving the car left and right. Fine, so it's working perfectly fine now. You can, work on this code after this class whenever you get the time to do so. But please do practice it, okay? Do experiment with the code, whatever I have shared with you, whatever we have used for creating this, beautiful racing game. Now it's time to create an advanced game, right? So we are going to create, you can say an advanced 2D game with the help of Ursina. So we'll be putting the 2D game
Advanced,
inside. Sorry, I didn't catch that here.
advanced 3D game.
Advanced 2D game, but the game will be inside Ursina. Okay, so Ursina is a game engine which provides us with a 3D environment, right? So when you will see the game, you will automatically come to know about how, can we put 2D game inside a 3D environment. So for that, we'll have to first, from Ursina, let's import everything. So from Ursina, import asterisk, right? And I'm going to save this file inside a folder which I created just before this class, and in which all the sprites are present, which I'm going to use for this game. So it is, this one. Saving it with jump.py. So these are all the sprites which we will be using for this game. Okay, from Ursina import asterisk. And it's time for us to, let me just increase the size of the window so that the code can be more visible to you. So from Ursina dot, there is this thing called prefabs. Okay, predefined fabs. And then platformer dash controller underscore 2D. So it gives us everything we require for controlling the characters of a 2D game present inside a 3D environment. When you will play the game, you will automatically come to know about what actually platformer control 2D provides us with. Okay, so from here, I would like to import platformer controller 2D. This is what I would like to take from here. Okay, and then let's come down, and here we need to create an object for this function named Ursina, right? And then let's run the game. So app.run we can use for running the game. Now if I'll just save the changes and run it, let's see what's gonna happen. So we are able to see, we are able to create a 3D environment, but we are not able to see anything over here. Why is it so? Let me just run this game again. Okay, nothing is visible to us. It's time for us to create a player inside this 3D environment. So using this platformer controller 2D, we'll be creating an object. So player is equals to, we can simply say platformer controller 2D, and then we can define the location we want to see this player at. So z is equals to 0.01 and y is equals to 1. Now if I will see the changes and run the game, did you see that orange color rectangular box falling down? Let me just run the game again.
Yes.
Was it visible to you? So that is our player, right? And with this simple line of code I was able to create, I'm able to create a player. Now why it is falling down? Because of the gravity. Now in order to hold it, right, in order to catch that particular object and hold it, at some point, we need to define, we need a ground kind of thing which can help us in doing so. So let's define a ground. Ground is equals to, and we are going to make use of this old method, entity. Right, entity is equals to, then the first thing we need to define is the model. So squad. Okay, then the next thing we can define is the position. So here we have y is equals to 1. So here we can define y is equals to -2. Okay, then we can define its scale. So along x-axis, I would like it to expand, 10, and then collider is equals to box, because I want to check the collision happening in between the ground and the other entities. Then what should be the color of this ground? So let's make it yellow. Okay. The spelling of yellow is not correct. Let me now run the code and see the output. So see, now we are able to see the player, but that collider is not visible to us. Why? Why is it so? You know, that ground thing which we just defined the code for, it's not visible to us. Is it something we missed here? Y is equals to -2 scale x. Then collider is equals to box. Color is equal to color dot yellow. Everything seems to be perfectly fine. Then why control is okay? It is squared. It should be quad, right? That's the error. That's the mistake I made. Let me run the code again. Are you able to see this nice ground here?
Yes, sir.
Now let me just show you the magic of player controller 2D. So now, in Ursina, what happens generally, we need to define some code, right, with which we can control the movement of the player. But here, if you are using player controller 2D, you do not require to define any such code. You can simply use A and D keys for moving the player. See, and if you want to jump the player, if you want to make it jump, press space bar key. See how beautiful the animation is looking.
Yes, it is already loaded in the
Absolutely, absolutely right here. No, it's not. It's not there in Ursina. It's the code is already there in this platformer controller 2D. That is the reason most of the professionals use platformer controller 2D over things like this, which we used in the previous game. What is the code which we use here? Let me just open this file and show it to you. So here we used this code, right? Here we defined, this code separately for making the car move in left and right direction inside the update function. But if you're using platform controller 2D, if you have created a player with this function, you do not require to define any such code. You can simply move the player with the help of A and D keys towards left and right, and you can also make it jump like this. Is it looking fine? Is it looking beautiful or not? See?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if I'll just go outside this yellow ground, what will happen? Let's see. So, the player fall. Okay, I'll not be able to bring it back.
Due to the gravity.
Absolutely right. Due to gravity, it fall, and I'll not be able to bring it back now. Okay, it's time for us to now define a wall kind of thing. So if you want a wall kind of thing, how can you do it? Again, you can make use of entity. Okay, and let's not put it manually. Let's do it this way. I've copied the code, I've pasted it here, and I'm going to now get rid of this one, and let's just change it to wall. Quadrilateral y should be, I think we do not require this y. Instead of y, we can define x for now. Okay, then what should be the color? So color, let's make it, azure. So it will be somewhat blue. Scale, we can, instead of defining scale along x-axis, let's define the scale along both the x's, that is x and y, 1, 5, right? And then we can, okay, I think I'm done with defining everything for this wall. Let me just run the code and see the output. So here is the wall, right? I'm able to now jump on the wall also. See, I was able to jump on the wall. So that's the magic of player controller 2D. Let me just pass this code to you also in the chat box of the meeting. So I would like you to create a new, Python file in Sublime Text, copy the code, paste it in that file and just run it. What I have done is I have a folder on my in my Python 38 named folder with this name, Ursina jump, inside which my code file is there and all the other files that I'll be using for this game, they are also there in this folder. This way also you can do it. You can create a new folder, you can put the coding file inside it, and then you can put all these sprites also inside that particular folder. Let me just share these sprites also with you in the chat box. Just a second. Okay, I think I'll have to select them one by one. Why I'm not able to select all of them together? Okay, let's. Fine. I am able to now select everything. I'm putting everything in the chat box. Okay. I'm done with sharing with you the code. I'm done with sharing with you the sprites also. Just give it a try and let me know if you are able to get the output or not. By the time I'm playing the game on my desktop. Okay, by the time you're doing, you're defining the code, let me just define some more entities. So I would like to now define a level for my player, and for that we can use this code, and let's just change the name of the variable first. So I've changed it to level, then entity, and then quad. Color should be, I would like to have a red color of level, collider box, and scale, let's make it 3, 1. So along x-axis, it will expand 3, and then along y-axis, it will be 1. Right, and I think X should be also changed. So I'm changing it to 2. Let's now run the code and check out the output. So here we have a level also now, right? See, that's how we can create a ladder kind of thing or a level in between. Okay. Let me know once you're through with defining the code. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now it's time for me to define a ceiling. Okay, so for that, I'm going to just change it to ceiling, entity, quad, color. Let me just change it to cyan. I think cyan is going to look good. Then scale 3, 1 is perfectly fine. X is equals to, let's make it 2.5. Okay, and y, I haven't defined y, right? I need to define y also for this. Let's make it, I think 1 will do. Okay, and x should be 2.5. Let me run the code and see the output. Okay, so I have a ceiling also now here. Right, can I jump on it? Yeah, I can jump on it, but it's not looking good. Let me just, play with the values I have defined here for ceiling. So model is equals to quad, x is equals to 2.5. I've defined, right? And instead of 2.5, if I'll just make it minus 2.5, I think I'll get a nice output. Yeah, this is looking perfectly fine now. So it's a level in red color, and ceiling is in cyan color. Now it's looking perfectly fine. Let me just put the whole code again in the chat box of the meeting. Copy the code and check it at your end whether you're getting the correct output or not. Are you getting the output, Tridish?
Yes.
You know, Tridish, in this file section, I have a, a file named sky_cloud inside this folder. Right, inside this Ursina jump where my coding file is present, I have some sprites, and there is a sprite with name sky_cloud. So this is what we'll be using as a background of this game. Now, how can we bring it? How can we put it as a background? So we are going to use the same code which we used in the very first game of Ursina. So, once we are done with creating the object for the Ursina function, we can put the background after that. So again, we are going to make use of entity, and here model should be equal to, let's make it quad. Okay, and let's now define a scale for this background. So 13,6 I am putting, and it's time for us to define the picture we want to see in the background. So for picture we use texture, right? I hope you guys know about it. In the previous game also we use the same thing, texture. So sky_cloud is the name of our picture. That's what we have to put here. We have to pass here as a value for this texture. And finally, we can define the value for Z. Let me just run the code and show you the output. So are you able to see this background over here? Is it visible to you, dear?
Yes, sir.
So the background is also here, see? Right, that's the beauty of the Ursina. Now, if suppose you want to extend the background, right? Let me know first of all whether you are done with trying this code I have shared with you or not.
Yes, sir.
Done?
Yes.
Okay. So now suppose you want to extend it. So what you can do, you can create a duplicate of this background. And how to create a duplicate? Using this function called duplicate. You can do it very easily. So duplicate, then what do you want to create the duplicate of? So I would like to create a duplicate of the background. So that's the reason I've passed bg as a parameter to this function named background bg. And then, what should be the size of the background? So for that, we can define a variable x over here, and let's initialize it with 13. So instead of putting an hardcore value over here, we can simply pass x. So here we can write x is equals to size, or else let's do it like this. Let's make it size, and here also let's make it size, and here we can pass x is equals to size. And control is, if I'm running it again, so I'm getting a background here also. See, it's repeating, it's getting repeated. Right, Tridish? So,
Yes, sir.
I have used the concept, I've used that concept which we use in code.org on GameLab. If you want to create another background, you can again copy this thing and you can put it here. Now you have to just run the code and you will get the output. But the output is not visible to us because the camera is not positioned properly. So I'll tell you how you can reposition the camera in such a way that you can see the entire thing, but not now. Let me just create a duplicate of all these entities also, because for every background, I want these things also to be there on the background. Right now, the entities which are visible to us when we are running the background are these entities, right? These are the entities which are visible to us. but they are visible to us only on this first background. I want to put them, I want to define them for this background also and for this third background also. So for doing that, we can simply copy these two lines of code and we can, put them like this. So duplicate, it's time for us to duplicate what? It's time for us to duplicate the ground. So here, sorry, it's time for us to duplicate the player. So player, and here also we can put, okay, why we are duplicating the player? We'll be playing the game only with one player, no? So I think we should not duplicate the player. We need to duplicate the ground. So ground, we can just copy it, we can paste it here. Similarly, we can copy the wall, we can put it here like this, right? And same thing we are going to do with